whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. And, of course, everybody's here except Dustin, but he's kind of here, sort of.
Sort of.
You know, Bo, I'm going to speak on behalf of those in the Gulf area. I love your intro from East Coast, West Coast, around the world, but us people down here in the bayous and the Gulf, we would like to be mentioned every once in a while. I feel like we're often forgotten about sometimes.
Yeah, that seems like the right amount.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound right to say the East Coast, West Coast, Southern Coast.
Right?
Right, you say the Gulf.
Is it the Gulf of America? Is it the Gulf of Mexico?
You can just say the Gulf. We don't have to go that fancy. We just say the Gulf. It's the Gulf.
Well, there we go. We said the Gulf right now, and that's good enough for the next year.
Good morning, Miss Freebird. Every time I see your mom come on here with her moniker of Freebird, for the Freebird, I always think of Leonard Skinner when I think of your mother. I kid you not. I always think of Leonard Skinner. Yeah, Gulf of Mexico. I don't know, West Coast Rand. That's a mix. I get you.
So what do we start with? Do we start with the trade?
Oh yeah.
Do we start with Barstool Sports?
Barstool Sports.
Well, yeah, that whole thing is going on still.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the whole F the Jews thing.
No, let's start with that. That sounds
like a great way to start this show. I didn't even hear about this, so please.
What kind of dumb stuff does Barstool, since they don't actually do sports anymore?
Actually, Barstool, so this came from the bar in Philly.
Okay.
And some heads have already rolled here, but this weekend, there was a kid who bought a bottle, got the bottle service.
Okay.
And on the sign of the bottle service, he had put it on there, F the Jews.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So very anti-Semitic. And ultimately, they put it on the sign, actually. The waitresses put it on the sign. The manager,
that's
I
wild.
guess, allowed it and stuff like that. And somebody filmed it, and next thing you know, it became a big deal.
So somebody wrote it, and then the bar supported it.
But Dave Portnoy gets word of it, and he's like, are you guys all out of your fucking minds by putting that on the sign? And fired the waitresses right away.
I mean, yeah, of course.
And initially was going to, these are college kids, and, they were all like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, Dave. This wasn't really meant. It was meant more as a joke.
I'm pretty sure that's not a joke.
Well, the guy's name is Muhammad Khan. So that tells me that it doesn't sound like a joke. Anyways, so this kid got suspended. He was going to Temple. He got suspended. He's no longer going to Temple right now. And ultimately, Dave was like, hey, listen, I'm not going to try to murder you guys, you kids. I'm going to send you guys to Auschwitz so that you can learn about what happened,
Yeah.
And make this a learning moment rather than a
career killing.
Yeah, let's just destroy the lives of this kid.
Yeah.
So now the kid backpedaled and said, no, it wasn't me that did this, or went on some anti-Semitic show and started to do that. And then there was also ABC in Philadelphia got a hold of Dave Portnoy and was supposed to be like, hey, you wanted to hear what his thoughts were on this. And then the reporter went the opposite way and said, so this is a white man thing here, that Barstool Sports and white men are contributing to this situation. Like it was like very you can't call it racist. But was very suggestive that it was like all white men and
Sure.
Barstool Sports contributes to the anti-Semitic feeling of this sign. And Dave's like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Yeah, to be able to say something like that? No, I don't believe in that. I don't agree with that. The waitresses have already been fired. And who are you to be saying this?
Yeah.
Like, and then she was pulling up like these professors from Virginia said something very specific. And I mean, these professors are like, it's like the most liberal statements known to man. Like that's like it's become a level of ridiculousness. Like what
Sure.
started out as just bad has become now ridiculous. And I find it interesting that that the anti-Semitic feeling in general, like even in the midst of this, like you guys didn't hear about it. You did hear about the fact that the governor, who is also a Jewish gentleman, the governor's mansion was somebody tried to light that on fire.
Oh, damn.
This happened a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. Crazy.
So
That is crazy.
What bothers, somebody actually I was talking about this yesterday. What bothered me after hearing about it and thinking about it a little bit is that, like, listen, I'm not Jewish. I'm Italian. So it's not like that. And Jewish is a religion and Italian is a nationality, and it's not, they are different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In a big sense. That being said, that after hearing about, like, talking about it a little bit, and they said, not any religion came out and said that this was wrong. Like that somebody said, hey, hate in any form is a bad thing. Yep.
Was it UN?
Oh God. I'll tell you, every time I see stuff like this, like Pags, like we were talking about, and people are saying it's a joke and this, that, and the other, and I have to say to myself, sometimes people, their ignorance, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And what I mean by that is, if it's not right there in your doorstep, people tend to make jokes because they don't understand the severity of it, because it's not in their face, it's not impacting their life.
It's one thing.
You know what I'm saying?
It's one thing to have an offhanded joke. It's another one to be writing it on
signs.
Trust
me, I get it. I get it.
Wildly different.
Right.
I will tell you, look, everybody knows me, knows I kind of come up with some crazy comedy. And I'm not always serious, but I will tell you, I've been to Dachau. I've gone through the gate where it says the only way out is through death. That's the English version. It's actually written in German above the gate.
Sure.
And I remember going through the showers when they told the Jews that they were going in here to be cleaned up and then be put into their bunks, only to find out that, it looks like a shower until you realize when the door is closed, it actually is a gas chamber. Yeah. I went into the room next door to it, and it's just a plain white room, probably about 12 by 12 room, and it's got a little 6 by 6 sign at the middle of the room, and that's all it's in there on the walls, a 6 by 6 sign that says this is where the bodies are stacked after the gas chamber, and then they get burnt later on down the road. And I will tell you, I walked to that place, as a tourist, but when I came out of that place, I felt a level of depression and pain and everything. It really, truly, it just engulfs you with. It's almost like you can feel what they were feeling without feeling it, if that makes sense. And ever since I've come out of that place and I've come back to the States and I've told some of my friends about the experience, you don't know what you don't know. But when you actually go there and you see the horrific stuff that took place there and the way in which it took place, it changes you. It changes you. It changes your perspective. And then when you hear about these people at Barstool Sports and these girls putting, F the Jews and this, that, and the other, and they don't understand.
It wasn't the girls that did it.
No, I'm
girls
saying
are
it was
the
the guy that
waitresses
did
that
it,
put it
but
on there, and it
yeah,
was two guys that did it.
right.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and like you're right, the waitresses were right to get fired.
Right.
Like I said, Dave was going to give them a free trip to Auschwitz so that they could understand what's going on, but now has rescinded that because of what's going on. It's a little bit of a mess. And
Yeah.
to go back to what I was trying to say before I got interrupted by Jay, is that that none of the other religions, none of the other guys have come out and said, "Hey, hate is wrong." In general, you know what I mean? That this is like that hate in any form against any specific, like if this happened to Catholics, if it happened to Muslims, if it happened to whatever, there would be a an amount of let's gather round,
Sure.
kind of.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been any of that in this. And that makes me wonder.
Well, it's weird that it's not getting more play because, again, I didn't hear about it.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't hear about it either. This is the
And
first
it's
I've heard of it.
interesting that Robert says that this would be would be a bar that be canceled. Is that really the case?
No, because that's not on the bar.
Yeah, that's and
Like
that's
the
kind of what I'm
waitresses
getting.
for
Like,
sure. The
I think
waitresses
that,
and the guys that did it, but the bar, like the bar doesn't know.
well, I mean, the bar is the one that put the sign out.
No, well, the staff did, right? But I mean, I can't imagine that the bar owner came in to do it. I mean, who knows? Maybe, but yeah.
I found it very interesting after talking about it, and that again, you guys didn't even hear about the fire happening at the governor's mansion.
Yeah, no, I
And
didn't hear about that. Chris, if you mean you shared it with me, it was my anniversary yesterday, man. I didn't look at anything.
Well, happy anniversary, Bo.
Thank you. Yeah, basically midday, I shut it down and I didn't do any actual work yesterday. So it was
Did
nice.
you? I guess you took the wife to the Mexican restaurant you talked about.
Yeah. Because again, like it's good food. It's close to the house. Like it's good. But we both have really early days on Wednesdays. So it was a Tuesday night. It's not like we're going crazy, right? We got to work the next morning. Got to work early because she teaches a class at 5:30. My first show is 6. So you're not going out to Taiwan on before that.
Oh, Jay doesn't tie one on anymore. He learned. We don't tie ones anymore. We untie. We don't tie.
well, that being said, so now that he's untied, George Pickens.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Jamie's tired of the learning channel here, and so. So let's talk about that. Big trade. They get a 3rd and a 7th. Cowboys get Pickens and a 6th. It's in some ways it made sense. Where it doesn't make sense is now they don't really have a receiver. Although there are some guys out there. Amari Cooper is still floating around. Gabe Davis just got let go by the Jags. So, it's entirely possible that they grab one of those two guys for relatively cheap. So, but the Steelers are going to need. Yeah, they have DK, but they're going to need somebody on the opposite side because one thing DK doesn't do is run a good route. And if he's your possession guy, you're not going to keep a lot of possessions. So
I'm sure they'll probably pick up Amari or Gabe.
Him to stretch the field, and then you go get a possession guy like an Amari Cooper or maybe a Gabe Davis or something like that. Yeah,
I definitely think that Pittsburgh is going to pick up one of those two guys. I don't think they're letting him go and not supplementing with something else.
I could care less what you think about Pittsburgh. You happen to be the team that they got traded to.
Yeah.
What do you think about the trade?
Thank you, Pags. Somebody must have peed in your beer this morning. Yeah.
That's an interesting analogy.
I'm sorry.
I'll throw this in there just because I think it's funny. Pickens routinely gets mad about not getting the ball, and he's going to be the second option. That is hilarious.
No, it is. It is. And I when Frankie told me about this morning, and I think Stat Guy then texted me about it afterwards, I thought to myself, is this, like you said, he's had issues with quarterbacks and with management, and I mean there's been a lot of drama around Pickens for a while, and it's not like he put up 1,000 yards. He's only put up, I think, at his best efforts maybe 800 to 900, and this is a guy who has a lot of drama. Now you could say maybe it's a quarterback not getting the ball, whatever, however you want to go that route with it, but yeah, I don't know what this is going to mean on several levels. One, you're right. How is he going to mold, and how is he going to affect the chemistry of the offense? Is he going to be a cancer? Is he going to be drama-filled? Is he going to come in and actually work and produce? How will him and Dak get along? Things like that. But more so, they got to sign him because I think he's up for a signing come up either this year or next year. How is he going to fit in the cap? Because we don't have, as everybody knows, we don't have a lot of cap room. So are we going to – what's his number going to be, and can we afford to keep that number?
Well, I think the biggest thing there, it is next year. He has another year on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's on a contract year, so it's through this year. But they have to restructure Dak, right? Like they got to get that number to not be ridiculous. So.
Well, I think didn't they already restructure Dak already once to clear up? I think 36 million. Him and CD, didn't they both take restructured? I believe to get that 36 million extra in cap space.
Yeah, but you still got to pay.
Well, that's my point. Yeah. No, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Is he going to want to restructure again? I don't know that Dak will.
I mean, if he wants to stay there, he will.
I mean, but does that matter to Dak? Maybe Dak's thinking like, hey, you know what? I can get something on the market. I'm sure. I mean, there's going to be teams out. Look at the Steelers. Are they going to, for example, what if? Okay, that's a hypothetical. I'm just saying. I'm saying, like, if it was this year, and Aaron and Dak comes up on the market, I'm pretty sure the Steelers would take a flyer on Dak. I don't know how much they'd give him. I don't know, what they command the same amount. I don't know. But I'm sure he could find another home. I don't think the Cowboys.
Probably wouldn't matter what they gave him because it'd probably be a situation like Denver where they'd pay him something and then Dallas is still picking up part of the debt.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it is a contract year. So I guess part of me is thinking, okay, he's in a contract year. He knows he has to play for the next contract. Will he ball out to get that next contract, or will he be smart enough to ball out to get the next contract?
So it sounds to me like really you're just like, I don't care that this team that he got him, this team's still going to suck. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what I read between all the lines you just said.
I think
Dallas
it'll be
still going to suck.
I think it'll be a little bit
matter that they got him.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit of a difference maker. I mean, because it will take some of the pressure off of CD.
Sure.
I don't think this is enough to get them past the Commanders or even the Eagles. God, I hate saying that name. I don't know. I don't know if it's enough to get past those two teams.
We care about the money because if they ask for too much, they don't stay on your team. That's why we care about the money. It's not that we're paying the money. Yeah, none of that matters. But because football has a hard cap, that's where it comes into play.
Yeah.
Joe don't know football.
I mean, it's always about the money with every sport.
It is.
Every sport is always about the money now. Baseball, basketball, everything.
It is for the players and the team, but it is for the fans because this is how we determine whether or not we get to keep the players we have.
Well,
yeah. I still feel like the Cowboys, we did get an offensive lineman. That's great. We got an edge rusher to complement the other side of Parsons. Okay, that's great. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to get past the Philadelphia Eagles or the Washington Commanders. I still think that those are
freaking Giants.
No, we'll get past the Giants. Don't get overboard. They're crazy.
I don't know. No,
we'll get past the Giants. That's disrespectful.
Who's your coach?
Brian Schottenheimer.
Okay, that's enough said. Listen, I think that you guys are going to be fighting for last place. Just my opinion. I know that you think that I'm a hater and stuff like that, but truth of the matter is that I think
I don't know
that
if you're a hater. Maybe just a little sour around the edges. I'm thinking it's the beer right now, so I'm going to give you a pass.
well, I'm drinking the water now. That beer is no longer getting sipped because I can't even handle the sips. But
That's pretty
yeah,
rough. That is rough.
Dallas is still going to suck, and it's possible that the Giants have a better record at the end of the season than the Cowboys.
Whew.
In
Don't
fact,
worry,
I'm just
Taz.
curious.
50 bet.
Okay.
I'm curious to see if Pickens loses his mind because he's not going to get the touches since he's not the number one target.
And that's very understandable. I wondered about that same thing too, because that was one of the big things he complained about with Pittsburgh. And now he's coming to another place that's going to be pretty much the same situation in certain regards. I still hold out the faith that maybe he's smart enough to know that this is a contract year and that his next contract is based on his performance this year. So he's going to have to perform. I'm still holding out on that one. We'll see what happens.
There's so much hate going on.
That's why I laugh at Joe. Joe, I understand that you live in a world of soccer and think that you know football. And I can understand and appreciate the fact that you would like the Cowboys to be better, but there is no chance in hell that they are anywhere near Washington or the Eagles. But I appreciate your thought process, Joe, and I love the fact that you have hopes and dreams because it's good to have hopes and dreams.
You're such a dick.
That's
So, Anthony, I guess switching teams here, he still has to outperform Shedeur. So, I mean, let's worry about Dart making the roster before we worry about who he beats out.
So my thought is that they are probably going to drop Flacco. I said already that Pickett's going to be the quarterback over there, and I know that Jay thinks that that's not the case, but I'm telling you that Pickett's going to wind up being the quarterback in Cleveland to start the season, and then the other two rookies are going to wind up being.
My bad. I was thinking Dylan Gabriel. That's my fault. That's my fault. He probably starts right away.
No, he's another one.
You think he outbeats Russell Westbrook? Westbrook.
He definitely
Russell
beats
Wilson.
Westbrook.
I know, right?
Beats out Westbrook.
I'm going to say Russell Wilson. Do you think he beats out Wilson?
I don't think he beats him out. I think Wilson gets hurt.
Okay.
And Frankie, I don't care what they say right now in Pittsburgh. Or not Pittsburgh, in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, yeah.
I think Flacco's not going to be. I think Dustin's back again.
He is. I was just ignoring him.
Yeah.
When you disappear, you come back on my time.
I can't do anything. People are trying to kill rodents right now.
What, they're using a 45? Like, what? How is that messing the show up?
Because they had to knock on my door to make sure I gave them permission to break something on the side of my house to seal the opening that they found on the side of the house. I'm like, yeah, seal the opening.
There you go.
All right.
I don't want them in my house no more. Do what you have to do to get rid of them.
Yes, they do have Will Howard. I like that pickup for them. He's cheap. He's a big-bodied guy. Fits what they like to do there. Now he just needs someone else to throw to.
So how about Indiana? Since we're going to change up and try to talk sports all day here, for the full hour. I want to see if we can keep it.
Oh, am I kicking the other two out of this chat? Like, what are we doing?
How about Indiana with a 3-pointer to win the game with like 1 second left in the game against Cleveland yesterday.
Yeah,
Make it
Halliburton
2-1
was a
lead.
dream killer yesterday. He was a
Halliburton,
dream killer.
Halliburton's going to win playoff MVP if they keep this up. He's had at least 3 or 4 game-winning shots already.
Did we want to just ignore the fact that the Cavs looked really flat?
Game one, they looked flat yesterday. They looked a lot better. They looked flat down the stretch, but they looked a lot better yesterday than they did in game one. Game
Yeah,
one,
I mean,
lost by
they
like
haven't
20.
played a complete game.
Yeah, game one they lost by like 20.
I mean, I don't know about. I don't, look, the Pacers beat a team that was missing 3 of their key starters, right? And they got them on a buzzer beater right at the end. So I mean, the Pacers are a good squad, and I don't want to disrespect the Pacers, but there's a lot of teams that they're going to have to go to get to that level. So to start worrying about Halliburton being an MVP or this out of the other, I mean, it's a little premature. I think, in my opinion. Cavs look tired. Oh man,
No, I was trying to get this.
Hey, how about Golden State taking care of business without Steph Curry in Minnesota? How about them apples?
That was actually a surprise to me. I thought that DiVincenzo would actually have a better game, and he did not. So, that being the case, if they have him under wraps, there's no chance that the Timberwolves will win.
How about the fact that a game in the NBA didn't hit triple digits?
So the last thing I did want to say about the Pacers right now, though, Jay, because I know you brought up that Halliburton, we're talking getting a little bit premature. Counting their 2 playoff wins this series already, the Pacers are now 5-1 against the Cavaliers this year.
Yeah.
They are 3-1 against the New York Knicks this year, and they're 2-1 against the Boston Celtics. So the Pacers have a winning record against the rest of the East.
But we're talking regular season, though, man. We're not. I mean, look, come on, man. Playoffs are.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, they match up really well with the remaining playoff teams.
I mean, look, we matched up really good with Golden State. We beat Golden State twice in the regular season, and yet we lost in Game 7. I mean, I don't put a lot of respect. I mean, I don't put a lot of weight on the regular season. It gets you to the playoffs, but when you hit the playoffs, it's a whole nother level, Bubba. Everybody raises their game tenfold. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and in terms of buzzer beaters, you can say the same thing about Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon hit 2 buzzer beaters, both of them against, I believe it was, so it was one against OKC, and then the other one, the series before that. So he's hitting two buzzer beaters. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are playing at a pretty good level, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like it when my guys don't have to hit buzzer beaters. They just play better all day.
Oh, no, I get it, too. Trust me. I totally get that. I totally get it. And that's why I felt like Golden State. I just felt like when Golden State played Minnesota, number one, Anthony Edwards only had 5 points going into the third quarter. I mean, they really took him out, and Naz Reid actually stepped up for Minnesota and had a hell of a game. I mean, Naz Reid was all over the place, but at the end of the day, man, I mean, Buddy Hield still continues to pick up where he left off in Game 7 and had a great game against Minnesota. So did Jimmy Buckets had a great game against Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, that game right there, I don't know, guys. I think this could be if Golden State can play at that level, even without having Steph Curry for 3 quarters. And I think Steph Curry will be back. I think he misses Game 2. I think he comes back Game 3 with that hamstring strain. But I think Golden State right now has proven to me to be the team to beat.
He missed 3 quarters and still had 13 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
He came out firing.
Yeah.
He was well on his way to having a old Stephen Curry playoff game where he just went up and took the game over.
Yeah.
From Pickens-Leesburg. Take it easy, Jay.
I love that. I wonder how the Steelers feel, though. Are they happy to see Pickens go, or are they upset to see Pickens go?
Based on Twitter, X, whatever, most of those fans aren't psyched about it.
So they're actually upset that Pickens is not on that team.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
because you had two top end ish
Yeah, I get
receivers,
that.
and now you have DK.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like, from the drama aspect of it, you're kind of getting rid of some drama. And if you go out and get an Amari Cooper or go out and get a Gabe Davis, you know, that will take some of the pressure off DK just to have a pretty decent team.
No, it just means DK is going to have the drama that he had in Seattle, because he's not going to get the targets, because you'll be going and getting a possession receiver for a rookie quarterback. And then, so DK is not going to be the number one target still, which means he's going to be mad, and he's going to pout, and he's going to start fights with corners and in between plays and get 15-yard drive killers. So it's, no, I mean, it doesn't really help anything. It just makes your receiving core less dynamic.
What is your opinion on Pickens, though? Why is it, if Pickens was that good of a receiver, which I don't think he's a bad receiver, but if he's so good, why is it he never got to the 1,000-yard mark plateau? Is it just because they couldn't get him the ball?
The Steelers' offense has been anemic for the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I mean,
It's not so much on Pickens as it is on the quarterback himself.
It is 100% the quarterback. You're talking about Mason Rudolph and Trubisky, and you had Russell Wilson and Fields. Fields can't throw the ball, so you know everything would have had to been yards after catch. So I mean, it's yeah, I mean that's not really on the receiver so much. But at the same time, Pickens, a lot like DK, doesn't necessarily run the best route tree ever. So it requires a certain type of thrower. But no, I'm a little bummed that they're not on the same team to piss each other off.
Fight over who's going to get the ball more.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Which jokes on them, it was going to be neither, because you have a rookie quarterback or Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do think
actually,
going back to that Cavs series, I do think that now I don't know the Cavs are going to be able to get back into this series down 2-0.
Wait just a sec. Both of them have a drop issue, Steve.
Well, yeah.
DK drops a lot of easy balls as well.
So I just got something, I guess, from Chris, or at least I'm finally seeing this. It's like there's a lot going on in Pittsburgh this past week.
Oh, yeah.
And Usher beating the hell out of a fan who was harassing another employee, like a female employee, and then was spitting on the guy. It's like he took his belt off to beat him. Took his belt off to beat him.
Oh, I saw that video. He was spanking him like my daddy spanked me when I lied about my test grade. I mean, he got at least 3 or 4 good solid licks of that belt on him.
Well, he also got spit on like 3 or 4 times too. So
yeah, you spit on me, we're gonna have problems.
I agree.
We're gonna have big problems.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to want to get in a fight.
Oh God, yes.
There's a lot.
Hell yeah.
That one's a little tough.
And he took it for a little bit. I got to give that Usher credit. He took it for a little bit. It wasn't until after a few episodes that he let go and said, "Hell with it." I mean, he was using some pretty good restraint there for a little bit.
Yeah, I figure, you know, getting in, trying to break something up, but as soon as it transfers to you, then it doesn't matter anymore, right? Because then it's defense.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And once you get that little window of opportunity, it's like, okay, now I'm defending myself. Now you're going to catch these hands.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it wasn't just the hands he caught. He got that belt like a champ too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
hey, but the second time he hit him with that belt, oh boy's hands were like this. Hey, whoa. How did we get to the belt?
I imagine Chris has probably sent me that clip.
Yeah, that probably got sent yesterday, and you didn't get to see it because you were too busy. Having relations with your wife.
And weirdly, way better than random sports news. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
Go
figure.
I was not prepared for this show today. I got to be honest with you. It has been all over the map. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So it says he's suspended. What do you think the odds are of him being reinstated and going back to work versus being let go and moved on from? What do you think the odds are on that?
I think that he will get brought back to work.
Yeah.
So because of the circumstances that were going on, as I'm reading the story and how that one guy was harassing a female employee and such, like, so there's going to be a suit that gets involved here. You know what I mean? With this guy too. I got to imagine that the guy who got whipped is probably going to sue the Pirates, but ultimately everything's going to come out and, because everybody's saying, hey, this guy was harassing a female employee, and then he got mouthy with, he probably used a racial slur to the one usher who then decided to, throw hands. And so
the spitting came before he threw hands, though. The guy spit on the usher first,
well,
correct?
Nope. He threw hands first.
Okay.
Then he spit.
Okay.
Then the guy took his belt off, and then the guy spit on him like 3 or 4 times. So
yeah, you deserve to get throttled. Like if you're swinging on somebody and spit on them, you deserve to get your ass kicked. Like that.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I get it. The only thing that kind of, if you watch that clip though, the guy when the two are having the going back and forth yelling at each other, the guy had his hands behind his back. He had a defenseless posture. The other guy, the usher, had his hands in a fist, basically saying, "I'm going to beat your ass."
Look at it again. You got to watch that video again.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it again. If you see it differently, I'll go back and watch it again. That was just my first take on it.
That would have been a whole different video.
No, they did sag a little bit, but they never fell down.
Well, you got to have that wide base.
Yeah. He definitely had a wide base.
Yeah. Now I'll have to check that out after the show. That sounds hilarious.
It's never a dull moment in Pittsburgh or with everything that's been going on lately. It's like the world is going to hell in a handbasket between.
Oh, it definitely is.
Girl who pooped on the car in Delaware County to get spit on in Pittsburgh and all the other things that are happening in the world. It's just like, what is happening?
Man.
They were talking about that, on Howard Stern yesterday. That was like the big deal. Like, hey, Delaware County is, being mentioned on the national show of Howard Stern because poop. Because of poop.
Yeah.
Turns out it was Amber Heard. Who knew? No. She thought it was a sheet. It just happened to be a car cover.
That's terrible.
You're not wrong. Terrible. It is going nuts out there.
It really is. It's it is what it is. Thank God that I am not part of any of this.
And that's what's great about sports is it lets us distract ourselves from all of that kind of craziness, unless it happens at a ballpark, and then you get to watch it in real time.
God, hey, that's why I moved to the forest. I wanted to get away from all that crazy life, man. I tell you.
I'm just gonna send you a pointy hat so you can finish the garden gnome action.
Exactly. Never a dull moment. It's just keep on keeping on.
Man.
Paul Skeens ain't going anywhere. He's going to be stuck there in Pittsburgh for the rest of his life.
The only thing you have to worry about is the mob.
I guess a mob. Yeah, I mean you're in Sicily, so the mob's a real deal there, I guess. What's with that?
So you just keep looking at different news, and I tell you, it's amazing some of the news that comes up. From like it's like, oh, this is what happens. Oh, this is what happens. So,
well, I mean, since we're talking just absolute nonsense today, Tucker gets released by the Ravens.
Right.
So apparently his off the field craziness has outweighed his ability to kick field goals. And coming off a bad year, this was the wrong year for him to have off the field weirdness. But
I bet you I'd be willing to bet that one thing had something to do with the other.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Although it said that the alleged time period for the massage action was similar timing to Deshaun.
Well, no, I get that part, but the fact that it all came out is what made him a bad kicker this time. Like I think that, I'm like worried about just my life in general, let alone.
Yeah. I mean, that is entirely possible. Hey,
What was the chances of Tucker and Deshaun Watson getting on the same team and comparing notes?
well, that's the thing is the Browns do have the opportunity to do a really funny thing. And I mean, if they pick him up, that means Tucker can try for Deshaun's record.
I'm just saying.
Sports is all about winning records.
I saw a meme the other day that says Justin Tucker signs with Cleveland and gets a fully guaranteed contract. I was like, yeah.
That would be hilarious.
And part of the fully guarantee is every missed kick is one less massage you get. That'll teach them to miss kicks real quick.
I mean, I don't know. Being as they're both massage guys, that team should be sponsored by Goldfish because they like snacks that smile back.
I don't know what one thing has anything to do with the other, but okay.
Well, I mean, I would imagine the massage therapists are hot, right?
I wonder what the odds are of that. Speaking of odds.
What's that?
No, damn it, Bo. You got to get better at
back
these segues. I said, I wonder what the odds are of that. That was your segue to go, well, Jay, if you wonder what the odds are, you can go to the betting show.
Oh, nah.
I think it's a lot, man. Look, you're about as bad.
No.
Get to the alley-oop.
I'm not trying to disparage our sponsors for this topic.
I'll give you a great alley-oop pass, and you just let it go out of bounds.
Nah. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I don't think he ends up there. I think he probably ends up going the Rodrigo route, where he might have to do an overnighter in the UFL before coming back.
Really? You don't think that there's an NFL team that would snag him up and
Someone might bring him into camp just to see if he can still kick. But there's a real good chance because of how bad last season was and these allegations are ongoing that a team may not be that interested in him for this coming season.
People are going to look at it from this angle. Like, he's been one of the more accurate, if not the most accurate kicker in NFL history. And all of a sudden he starts struggling last year out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden this comes out kind of during the middle of those struggles. So people are going to look at it and be like, did he know that this stuff was going to start coming out, and he started to worry about that more than the actual kicking aspect?
Well, and it's not like those cases are closed.
No.
So
maybe they don't want the drama of bringing Justin.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it wasn't like a kicker where you can kind of see the struggle starting to get there as they get older, where their leg might not be able to make a 58-yarder anymore. You start going down to like that 54, 55-yard range. Like, he's been making 60-yard kicks like his whole career, and all of a sudden this year, out of nowhere, he started missing, and nobody could figure out why he was missing or how much he was missing. Well, this is probably why.
And he was missing due to lack of aim, not distance. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and that was the thing. Like, and that was the thing that was always like his number one thing was the distance he could make, plus he was accurate. And all of a sudden, you saw him not only missing, but like missing by wide margins where the kick wasn't even anywhere close. Everyone's like, "Well, what's going on with Tucker?" This is what's going on with Tucker. Like, he had this in his mind, I think, the whole year because he knew it was going to come out.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was missing extra points and stuff. So I mean, like he was. It didn't matter where he was. He was just missing. So yeah, no, it's interesting for sure. But yeah, I mean, because these are open and he had such a bad year last year, someone might bring him into camp, but there's a chance that he's not available. So I don't know that you bring him in, until these start to get resolved. Like if they get settled like they did for Deshaun, then you're like, okay, because he's still going to have some sort of suspension coming too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the league's going to levy something.
For sure.
So that's why I say, like, there's a real good chance that he does an overnighter down in.
That
in
makes
the
sense.
UFL.
No, that's right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. That makes total sense. UFL, CFL. I'm sure he would get on with either one of those leagues and be able to do that for a year, and like Trey Lance, and just come back once it's all resolved.
It'll probably be the UFL because if he's under litigation, they're not going to want him to leave the country.
Well, that's true. Okay, well, damn.
But yeah,
Hey,
I mean, but why I bring up Rodrigo is he's actually been kicking really well in the UFL, so he may have a real shot at coming back to the league this coming season.
Yeah. What y'all think about Shedeur Sanders taking Brady's number 12 number?
How's that Brady's number?
Well, he said he took the number 12 because of Brady, because Brady was
Gotcha.
12.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Rodgers rocks that number, like a bunch
No,
of
he came out and said he wanted to wear number 12 because of Brady. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
he wanted to wear number 12 because 2 was already taken.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. It's not like he picked it for any other reason. 2 wasn't available for him. It was already picked.
Right. I just thought it was interesting. He mentioned Brady, though, and mentioning how he did choose his number. Like, okay, I guess you want to be like Brady. I don't know if you can be, but okay.
And how about Abdul Carter getting turned down by 2? You know, like Sims says, nope, not number 11. You can't use number 11.
Yeah.
And then, like Lawrence Taylor, I understand. They like straight out, nope, you don't get it. You don't get to use my number. You
Right.
know?
And why would you want either one of those numbers? That's like somebody else's legacy. I wouldn't want somebody else's legacy.
So this is the way I look at it is if you are an amazing player transferring to a new team, right? When Jerry Rice came to Seattle, he asked Steve Largent to use number 80, which, yeah, right? Because he's played his whole career with it. He has a Hall of Fame legacy that he was building as well. That ask makes sense to me. Now, the player still has the ability to say yes or no or whatever. In this case, he let him use it. But when you are coming out of college and have done nothing, I'm not giving you my number, right? like if you are a Hall of Famer that's coming to my team, you built your Hall of Fame career elsewhere, you traded to me or free agent or whatever, you want to use my number? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've built your career based on that. And then it goes back to being retired as soon as you're gone. But if you haven't done anything, yeah, go get a number and do something great with that.
And I like that. And I like what Lawrence Taylor said about it. He said, "Look, I'm a Jalen Carter fan, but he needs to build his own legacy and not try to be in this legacy." And I like that. I thought that was a classy answer to saying the word no. I thought that had a lot of class because it gave a good reason for it. Not just saying no because it's mine. It's more like, you know, build your own legacy and be your own person. And I like that. I think it's a great answer.
And that's why I say, like, had he already built his career somewhere else with that number and then was transferred to the team now, and you make that call, there's a chance you get, you know, the ability to use that number. But because you haven't done anything, no.
Yeah. That was like that's kind of like the Mason Graham of the Browns, who was the Cleveland's first round pick. They showed his like first day in the Cleveland facility, and they were going through like the equipment tryout or whatever, and they brought him into the jersey room or whatever where they picked the jersey numbers. He's like, "Well, do you have 2 numbers in mind?" He's like, "Well, what do defensive line players typically get in the NFL?" They're like, anywhere from like 60 to like 69. Now you can go in the 50s and things like that. He's like, "What about 73?" Guy looks, he's like, "Well, I'm pretty sure Joe Thomas is not going to let you have his number since it's been retired." So he's like, "Yeah, another number of 9." I was thinking number 99. I think Myles Garrett has that number, but I'm pretty sure he'd be willing to give it up. And Myles Garrett like peeks around the corner. He's like, "Got a long way to go there, brother."
Wow, that takes some balls to say that about Myles Garrett,
Right?
especially if he has a helmet in his hand.
Well, and there you have it. So.
The M's do need this one, Rob. They do. That'd be cool. The A's are a tough out.
But they won last night, right?
The Mariners did, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so it's so this will be the 3rd in the series.
How
So
about
we'll
them
see.
Cubs last night, giving up 9 runs in the?
How about Ryan Presley giving up 9 runs in the 11th inning without recording a freaking out?
That's correct. Well, that's about the same thing though with the Padres giving up 10 runs to the Yankees in that one inning. I think their ERA went from like 1 point something to like 90 point something in that one inning. It was incredible.
The thing was, like, so many fans got on Ryan Presley last night, and more so Craig Counsell basically saying, why are you leaving him in so long when he's already given up like 5 or 6 runs without giving out an out? What
Right.
people didn't realize is 3 relievers were unavailable yesterday. And
They were forced, basically.
Presley was the last reliever they had left in the pen, so it was pretty much you're going to wear this one because we have nobody else we can go to at this point.
Yeah, it's either him or position players. I
Well, they
guess.
did. They ended up throwing another reliever that was supposed to be unavailable after Presley gave up 9 runs just because he pitched like back-to-back days and he threw like 34 pitches. So he ended up throwing a 3rd straight day now, so he's not going to be available today. But it's just like at some point the fans need to realize you went through 7 relievers heading into the 11th inning. You have other guys that aren't available.
He went
Presley
through
realized,
7 relievers.
yeah, like the starter went 5 innings, then they had one reliever do 1 inning, another reliever did 1, and then they had a couple that did like 2/3, couldn't get out of the inning, went to another reliever a 3rd, and then Presley was like their last like option. So it's like, yep, you're gonna wear whatever you're wearing in the 11th inning because we got nothing left.
Yeah, need them starters to play longer.
I was reading where Paul Skeens is 0-4 against the Cardinals. I guess the Cardinals kind of have his number right now, it looks like, which is interesting. I mean, Paul Skeens is a pretty good pitcher. I'm surprised the Cardinals, are they really that good that they have his number? I guess they just know how to hit against him or game plan against him.
Cardinals are basically a dead red fastball team. So they just sit on his fastball and just hit it. And if they don't get it, they don't get it.
Okay, I got you. That makes okay. Yeah.
And just in other ridiculous sports news, there is a new team name that does not end in an S.
Yep, and it's in the NHL.
Yep.
The
Mammoth?
Utah Mammoth.
Utah.
Because at Mammoth is singular and plural.
Mm-hmm.
Mammoths.
Yeah, I mean, I guess sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think that they were called mammoths. But
No, there's only one. Just the one. That's why they're not around anymore.
right, exactly. But I like team names without the S.
No, it is. The plural of mammoth is mammoths with an S.
There you go.
That's on Google,
There you go.
baby.
So they just
That's
have the one
interesting.
mammoth. Everyone else is
You only get one. Just one.
the one and only Wooly.
Woolly mammoth.
The Mets stink. Yeah, so all is right in the world.
That is par for course. The Mets stinking.
Jesus.
And I like that they're losing to the Diamondbacks on top of that.
Beautiful.
There has been a lot of runs scored lately in baseball. Like ridiculously. It's like you've had games that are very small, like 2-1,
Yep.
But then like 10-9, 12-3, 9-1, 9-1, 14-5.
Yeah.
With all those runs being scored in one inning, by the way. For the most part.
I thought it was interesting. I guess we're almost getting to the end of it. I was reading Sovereignty, the one that won the Kentucky Derby at Pags got to go to, is going to skip the Preakness. So he's not going to go for the Triple Crown. I wonder if that's a health issue with the horse or what exactly is keeping them from wanting to try to compete for the Triple Crown.
I think it's the age of that horse. I think that horse is one of the older horses, like in the Derby field. And it's getting to the point now where it can't take the full workload that the rest of these racing horses take.
Wow.
I mean, hold on. It's got to be a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like they're old.
Yeah,
No,
it's only a
okay,
3-year-old. It can't
it's a
be
3-year-old.
like even if it's as high as a 4-year-old, like a late 3, because
Yeah.
all horses have the same birthday.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing. They're not born the same day, but they all have the same birthday. So it's year 1, year 2, year 3. This horse has got to be a 3-year-old because you can't be a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old to run the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I think he's a late 3-year-old horse that turns 4 before the next stage of the Triple Crown. So it's already kind of at the point where he's like one of the older horses.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hear you, but I don't know that that's the reason why, but it's possible. I did hear that he's not going to run the race,
Yeah.
which
This
you know,
seems like a
people-
good one for Stat Guy to track down.
Yes, all the horses that were in the Kentucky Derby were descendants of Secretariat.
that is 100% correct. I did the research on that myself, actually,
That
including
horse was busy.
the Japanese horse and the Irish horse.
Yep, that horse was busy in the off season.
So Secretariat. So actually, because of this, as going a little bit further down the line, there is actually starting to become an issue because of like the inbreeding, because so many were sired by Secretariat.
Was it all 25 of them
Yep.
sired by Sovereign by Secretariat
Mhm.
at the Kentucky Derby?
Are descendants. They're not necessarily
descendants,
sired
yeah.
by Secretariat.
not.
but
Not
They
sired. I'm
all-
sorry, descendants. Yeah.
They are all descendants of Secretariat, every single one of them.
Wow.
So Secretariat is part of their lineage tree, which is not necessarily the best, because that means there's a lot of inbreeding on these horses.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see a horse with Down syndrome?
Oh God.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
Oh man. That's
We
easy
are-
where Jay would
We
have
are
said.
at that time of the show. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, or at least try not to unsubscribe. If you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.